One thing I love most about my Armenian culture is that it has such unique traditions where you can't find anything like them anywhere across the world. One of those traditions, called Agra Hadig, is very special to me and, in my opinion, epitomizes the Armenian culture because not only does it connect it back to my Armenian roots, but it also means so much and is so culturally rich to the Armenian community in general. Today, my artifact is this duduk, and throughout my speech, I'll explain why it is so important to the event itself, but also to me. But first, we must answer this question: what is Agra Hadik? Agra Hadik is an event celebrated when a child bears its first tooth. Basically, how it works is a veil is put on the child, and we throw hadik or wheat onto the child. Once the veil is upheld, we ask the child to choose an object, and that object will basically symbolizes what we think child will be like as an occupation when it grows up, because each object represents an occupation. This is said to represent multiple things. One, it represents adulthood, since bearing a first tooth is basically the first step into adulthood. And also, once we sprinkle hadik onto the child, represents health in the form of healthy gums, healthy teeth, and fruitfulness. This is said because Armenians have a very special connection to the wheat, to the point where wheat actually represents the third color, orange, in the Armenian flag. It represents the fields of wheat growing in the Armenian pastures. It also represents family, because at the end of the day, a lot of people just see this as a way to celebrate new life, to celebrate with the family. So, as I said, one of the main events for Agra Hadig is the choosing of an object. And that object, each object represents an occupation. For example, if they pick a duduk, that's why I chose this object, it represents being a musician, being an artist. But if they chose like a hammer, they represent being a construction worker. Or if they chose a gavel, that represents being a judge or a lawyer. Many people even put a cross into the object kind of pool because they want to see if their child will have more of a religious life as they grow older. A lot of people like to cheat by putting the objects that they want their children to get closer to the baby, and others just do it a different way than most others. They put a note with the occupation written on it, and they tie it to a stick. That way the child doesn't go for the flashier object. People have had many variations on this game throughout history and in other different places. For example, in the 19th century, when this was first recorded as being a tradition, it wasn't originally to see what occupation the baby had, but actually for a sibling to see if they'd have a brother or a sister. But obviously, as the diaspora has fled from Armenia, we've had different traditions, and overall, this custom is seen as being to see what occupation the child has. Then we have the types of jobs that are being shown from country to country. Armenian Americans, they usually put more prestigious jobs that have a lot of money attached to them. For example, a banker, a lawyer, or an artist. But in Armenia, many people have, they don't put the most high-paying jobs, but usually the most respectable ones, such as a teacher or farmer. Then we have the hadik that is being thrown on the child. In America, it's very luxurious, very extravagant. You have sprinkles, pomegranate seeds, and chocolate. But in Armenia, it's very simple. It's specifically just the wheat, the cinnamon, and the sugar. So as I said, this means a lot to me. And the reason why for that is because it represents a lot of things to me. Not only does it represent the connection of nature and health that the Armenian culture represents to itself, but also it gives me an opportunity to talk Armenian to other Armenian family members. It gives me the chance to see a lot of Armenian family members that I haven't seen in a long time. It also gives me a chance to learn about the Armenian community that I couldn't do on my own. But also overall, at the end of the day, it's just family that wants a better life for their child, and they give them that opportunity in their own way by having them choose a very prestigious and very respectable job. So then that's why I really like this custom, because it shows us looking back at our past but also celebrating the future for our children, for our young. So overall, I have given you kind of a brief summary about Agra Hadig and why it's very important to me in the Armenian community. And if you take away one thing from this speech, it's that you should very much celebrate yours and others' ethnic identity, because it makes you who you are today, and without it, we'd be a very different person. Anyways, thank you for listening to my speech. I hope you have a wonderful day.